Ethereum against Bitcoin has continued to slide. But if you're bullish, this doesn't have to scare you too much. We've got a lot of tolerance until it's over. This is a big support zone, the way I've drawn it. It stretches from 0.51 up to 0.54, which is, probably like a 7% range. What is it? Yeah, 6.7% range. That's a pretty generous range here to capture some support. But it is sliding down, and the nature of these slides is that they just kind of always continuously slowly slide lower, and then they get the big spike, and then it happens again and again and again, right? So for that reason alone, this spike is nothing crazy to me. It's actually quite like this spike here. And it's why I'm still bearish. I'm bearish on Ethereum. I'm not bearish on Ethereum against the dollar. Obviously, against the dollar, I think it's going to gain a lot. Like, whether that's short-term, mid-term, or long-term, I'm pretty bullish on Ethereum. But what I'm bearish on Ethereum for is its price against Bitcoin. Because what I'm most interested in is obviously accumulating Bitcoin. And if it's going to get weaker against Bitcoin, then yeah, I might still make some money against the dollar, but I don't care about the dollar. I care about Bitcoin. And that's what this chart shows me, is that it's got a really bad setup against Bitcoin now, going back to mid-2022. And we're now in mid-2024. So that's 2 years of a continuous downtrend here, which might sound like a lot. It might even sound like too much. But ultimately, the primary reason that I remain bearish on Ethereum against Bitcoin is because Bitcoin's not done yet, ladies and gents. It's just that simple. Bitcoin ain't done yet, okay? And if Bitcoin's not done yet, that means that Bitcoin can easily blast through levels like 70k, 80k, 90k, 100k, melt our faces. Even now, I was talking to you about how if we go down to 40k, it's going to be an amazing rally back up, and it's just going to like melt our faces in terms of how explosive it is once we break the all-time high, if we do it, because nothing is guaranteed. And I stand by that. But even what we've done now, with over 100 days of consolidation between 60 and 70k, that's still enough to produce a huge breakout. I mean, we did that when we were at 25 to 30k. We were trading there for 7 months. So far here, it's been about 3.5 months. So basically half. And that consolidation produced one of the biggest breakouts I've ever seen in my life. Certainly by percentage, certainly by dollar gain. We went from 30k up to 74. I mean, that's a $44,000 increase. That just doesn't happen. That just doesn't happen. And we've now done half of that already with our current consolidation. So whether we break out now or we break out in another 3 months or whatever it might be, if we do get the breakout, and I'm sure eventually it's going to come, I'm sure that you agree with me too, it is eventually going to come, regardless of when that happens, you're looking at quite likely an explosive breakout. I mean, just something huge. Like, you're going to get paid for waiting. That's what I'm saying. That's the conclusion here. If the market makes you wait, you're going to get paid, mate. That's just how it works in my experience. I've been doing this for 7 years plus. 7 years plus. If the market makes you wait, or if the market hurts you, you are going to get paid afterwards. That's the game. That's the joy here, right? So, if that's going to happen, then Bitcoin is going to explode upward. Why would you want to trade anything else other than Bitcoin? Okay, and the Bitcoin's dominance chart proves this to us, because Bitcoin started looking really bullish here. Take a look at this, right? We're on the weekly, we're on the daily here for Bitcoin's dominance. We're on the daily here for Bitcoin's price. Now, where does Bitcoin's dominance bottom? Look at that, at the fucking market bottom. At the exact market bottom is where Bitcoin's price, is where Bitcoin's dominance bottoms as well. You cannot make this up. I mean, it's right in front of you. Smash up the likes for this, ladies and gents, because this is huge. This is a big, big deal. You cannot make this up. Bitcoin's dominance hits its absolute low the very same time that Bitcoin's price hits its low. And what does that mean? If this doesn't really make sense, if you're not really following me here, what am I getting at? Let me explain it to you, sir. Or madam. Let me explain it to you. What it means is that when Bitcoin over here on the right hand side starts trending up, and when Bitcoin starts looking strong, Nobody wants to hold their altcoins anymore. Why would you be in the altcoin market when Bitcoin is making you money? The only thing you're doing is taking on additional risk to make less money. Sorry guys, I've had a bit of a bad throat. Like, that is absolutely huge, and you can't ignore that. The only thing you're doing in the market, if you're staying in altcoins, is taking on additional risk to make less money. It makes no sense. Everybody knows that it makes no sense. There are going to be exceptions. People that are too emotionally invested, people that have married their bags and stuff like that, there are going to be exceptions. That's their business. I've been there. I understand it. Still not right. It's still not going to serve you. But there are going to be people who operate like that. But for the most part, the charts are in front of you. The numbers don't lie. When Bitcoin is bullish, nobody's interested in altcoins. And they sell their altcoins. And their altcoins get weaker against Bitcoin. They might gain against the dollar, but what does it matter if you're taking on additional risk to make less money? Right? And this doesn't mean that I'm like super anti-altcoin. I am. But what it means is that now is just not the time for me personally to be interested in those altcoins. I will be interested in them later, and you best believe I'm going to get very aggressive with them. Because I think there will be a time where all of this money in Bitcoin is going to be so fucking happy, so ecstatic, so over the moon. That money is going to feel so smart. It's going to feel so reckless that, because, you know, you talk about like people who don't have money immediately making a large amount of money. They're just going to get cocky as fuck, right? Like, it's just going to be messy. That money is going to get really greedy. That money is going to get really, really arrogant. And the only thing that that arrogant, greedy, confident money does is it takes more risk. And how do you take more risk in crypto if you're in Bitcoin? You buy alts, right? So I don't think we're there yet, but I think we're going to get there. And I think a great candidate for when we get there will be the 60% range that I've been talking about for quite some time. That's how I think we're going to get there, right? And then maybe there, maybe higher, maybe lower. I don't know. I can't see the future, but hopefully somewhere around there at minimum is what I'm expecting. And then money starts flowing back into altcoins. But I'll tell you what, it's not even about Bitcoin's dominance chart. It's about Bitcoin's price. Because as long as you're still seeing a price explosion with Bitcoin, as long as you're still seeing potential for it, or as long as it's still actively happening, you don't have a reason to be in altcoins. And again, this chart proves it to you better than I can. When Bitcoin is trending up, people are consistently dropping their altcoins. It's right in front of you. So how can I be bullish on Ethereum? I'm looking at a chart setup here where if we hold 67k, I think we blast off. If we hold 60k, I think we blast off. If we don't hold either of those and we collapse down to 40 or even 30, I still think we blast off. And so in any of these situations, the best case scenario is that you're going to get a mini alt season. And mini alt seasons are still great. That's still life-changing money. But it's nothing compared to the real thing. Right? It's nothing compared to the real thing. And so to me, like, no matter which way I look at it, there is a huge bullish price explosion on the horizon for Bitcoin. It might take a short amount of time from here. It might take a hell of a lot longer. That is something I can't tell you, and that is something I don't know. But what I do think is that it's going to happen. And if it does happen, then I have to expect that Bitcoin's dominance is going to continue to go up. That's my thesis here. And that's what I've been getting at with you guys for a very long time right here on this YouTube channel. That is exactly it, ladies and gents. Smash up the likes for that, because I think that is absolutely huge. I think that is a big, big deal here in the market, and something which definitely ought to be considered in this market here. And it's why I think Ethereum is still facing problems here, and why it may continue to face problems for some time to come. You know, I do think that it's a good setup, and I do actually think that it's very tradable. Like I said, huge bonuses available with these links below. Blowfin is a no KYC exchange, and you can actually trade Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever you like, with cash bonuses, which is super, super cool. These guys have got great tech. They are not a white labeled exchange, so they stand on their own, which is very important. Very, very important. And if you like Bybit, then check it out, because you're getting huge bonuses here too. You can actually buy Ethereum against Bitcoin for free whenever you feel like that time is right. Again, if you want to get your bonuses on Bybit or on Blowfin, you've got to make your deposit and start trading, and you're going to get them. And that is beautiful.